there is a truth that very few people are brave enough to face. When life begins to unravel, when familiar structures start to collapse, when relationships crack and you feel yourself being pulled away from everything you once relied on, it may not be a sign of failure at all. It may be a calling from the sacred part within you that can no longer remain silent. Being chosen by God is not usually a dramatic moment where a beam of light touches your forehead. More often, it feels like life itself is stripping you layer by layer, forcing you to confront the parts of yourself you have spent years avoiding. In Jungian language, when the self awakens, the ego begins to tremble. The identity you once relied on no longer feels stable. You feel lost inside your own old life, as if you outgrew it long ago without realizing it at the time. This journey is not gentle, it is sacred and it is frightening. But every woman chosen by God in the Jungian sense must pass through the narrow gate of her own soul. The isolation, the losses, the invisible inner battles. These are not punishments, they are signs of preparation. Signs that you are being shaped for a deeper, more authentic version of yourself. And if these words are touching something inside you right now, pause for a moment. Maybe you are not hearing this by accident. Maybe you are standing on the edge of something vast, something you have not yet found words for. So let me ask you this. What are the 7 signs that you are a chosen woman? Walk with me into this truth. Your journey has only just begun. Sign 1. You are set apart from the crowd without choosing it. There are moments when you stand in a crowded room surrounded by voices and laughter, yet feel as if no one is really there. You talk, you smile, you participate, but deep inside there is an invisible distance you cannot cross. It is not that you lack social skills. It is not that you are incapable of fitting in. It is that there is a transparent barrier around you, quietly turning you into a witness of your own life. This separation is not something you chose. It chose you. In Jungian psychology, this is not unusual. Some individuals are called inward earlier than others. When the energy of the self begins to stir, it gently pulls you away from the roles and environments you once inhabited without question. Conversations that feel empty no longer hold your attention. Loud amusements lose their appeal. Relationships built merely to fill time begin to feel hollow. What confuses you most is that these were once places where you felt connected. You once laughed. You once belonged. You once felt at ease. Now you don't. That disorientation is not a flaw to fix. It is the first signal of awakening. When a person moves closer to their true nature, they can no longer dissolve into old structures. Like a bird growing new feathers, it can no longer remain in the cage it once called home. You may still be present physically, still attending gatherings, still showing up, but your soul has already moved beyond. You begin to notice how desperately people try to hide their loneliness behind noise and laughter. And in that moment, you feel different. You may remember how hard you once tried to blend in, and the more you tried, the more you felt yourself disappearing. You blamed yourself. Why can't I be like them? Why can't I enjoy what everyone else enjoys? What you did not know is that this discomfort was a calling, a quiet pull away from places that no longer matched who you were becoming. Jung called this separation from the persona, the social mask. Most people live their entire lives inside those masks, shaped by expectations and roles. But some are forced to remove theirs earlier, not because they are weak, but because their soul demands truth, and truth often arrives with loneliness. You may recognize this pattern. Friendships that once felt close now feel distant. A relationship that once excited you now leaves you quiet. Conversation that once made you laugh now leave you empty. You feel as though you are standing at the edge of your old life, unable to step back into it. This is not loss. This is evolution. A follower once shared her story with me. She worked in a loud, busy office filled with gossip. You may have felt this early in life. As a child, you didn't enjoy what other children enjoyed. As you grew older, you felt exhausted by things others called fun. And now, as an adult, you realize how few people truly resemble you. Sometimes none at all. And you wondered, is something wrong with me? But the truth is simpler. You are on a different journey. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, why do these words land so precisely inside me? Where is this feeling coming from? From memory? From intuition? From a part of your soul you have never allowed to speak? Sometimes, stopping long enough to ask is all it takes to hear what you have been avoiding. This separation is the first confirmation. You no longer belong to the old world. You are stepping into something deeper, wider, and more real. And this journey has only just begun. Sign 2. You walk through wounds that others cannot understand. Once you step away from the crowd, life begins to surface things you thought were long buried. Old wounds, unnamed pains, experiences you believed you alone had to carry. Others look at you and cannot understand why you are so sensitive, so deep, so easily affected. They were not there for the storms you survived. In Jungian depth psychology, those called to individuation are often required to face shadows most people spend their lives avoiding. Not because they are fragile, but because their soul has the capacity to endure. And that endurance is precisely why they are given the hardest roads. Your wounds are not random. They are impact points, striking the doors of deeper layers that once slept in the unconscious. Perhaps you trusted someone completely, only to be betrayed in a way your heart was never prepared for. Perhaps you placed your hope in a future, a person, a promise, and watched it collapse. Or perhaps you endured silence, injustice, and unprotected pain, learning to walk away as if nothing happened. These experiences did more than hurt you. They changed you. Old layers were stripped away, leaving something raw, exposed, and more sensitive than before. And you asked yourself, why does pain keep finding me? Through Jung's lens, the answer becomes clearer. Souls prepared for depth are never given smooth paths. They must be wounded to learn how to heal. Jung called this the archetype of the wounded healer, the one who can touch another's pain because they have lived it themselves. A woman once told me her life was marked by loss. Her father died early. Her mother was distant. Love came, then left just when she thought she had found home. She spent nights lying awake in the dark, listening to her heartbeat, asking questions with no answers. She believed God had abandoned her, until she realized that those cracks were exactly where the light could enter. You may recognize yourself in that story. You have endured more than you admit. You have been misunderstood, judged, and silently wounded. And yet you did not just survive. You learned. You grew. That is why you carry a depth not everyone has. From a sacred perspective, your pain was not meant to break you, but to expand you. Compassion, resilience, and understanding are forged through experience, not theory. When God chooses someone, He refines them in fire, not to destroy them, but to shape them. You have walked through trials that could have shattered others. You still know how to love. You still choose kindness. You still rise, even when exhausted. Each time you do, you become stronger than you were before. Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. A soul unwounded cannot know depth. A heart unbroken cannot hold great love. If you carry wounds others cannot understand, it is because you are walking a path not everyone is called to walk, and this path is leading you somewhere sacred." Sign 3. There is a mysterious spiritual fire burning inside you. After walking through wounds that others cannot understand, something else begins to awaken within you. Quiet, but intense. It is no longer just pain. It is a pull, a deep, unexplainable longing, a flame that cannot be seen with the eyes, but that you feel clearly with every breath you take. This inner fire makes it impossible for you to live superficially. You cannot pretend for long. You cannot silence the voice inside that keeps whispering that there is more. More truth, more meaning, more depth than the life you were taught to accept. This fire does not come from external success or circumstances. It is born in the deepest layer of your soul. In Jungian psychology, this is a clear sign that the self, the sacred center of the psyche, is calling you closer. When the self speaks, the ego loses control. You begin to feel compelled towards something you cannot yet define. It feels like standing at the edge of a vast ocean, knowing you are meant to step forward even though you cannot see the shore. You may notice that the life you once tolerated now feels unbearable. You can no longer compromise with emptiness. You feel restless when you ignore your intuition, as if you are betraying your own nature. Some call this the voice of God. Some call it the soul. Jung called it the compulsion of the spirit. Different names, same essence. Awakening. Many people tell me they do not understand why, even when they are tired, wounded, and disillusioned, they cannot abandon their spiritual path. Even when they drift away, even when they try to live like everyone else, the flame returns stronger. It is like trying to smother a glowing ember. The heat still burns through, reminding you that it never went out. Some spend years chasing achievements, deadlines, status, and recognition. Their lives are filled with schedules, notifications, and metrics. Everything can be measured except peace. And the higher they climb, the emptier they feel. An exhaustion that sleep cannot heal. A void that travel cannot fill. A quiet sense of living someone else's life. Jung said that the human being cannot endure a meaningless life, and that is why those who are chosen cannot live aimlessly. You are pulled toward depth. Even when your path is difficult, something inside you insists that survival alone is not enough. You are being called toward truth. You may try to ignore that call. You tell yourself you are too busy, too tired, too broken. But the more you avoid it, the louder it becomes. It is as if God placed a spark inside you, and every time you turn away, He gently breathes on it so it flares again. Not to punish you, but to remind you that your soul was not made to live halfway. This fire is different from ordinary enthusiasm. Enthusiasm fades when things go wrong. This fire does not. Even when you fall, it stays. Even when you lose your way, it waits. It is like a hidden summer inside you. And it makes you different. When you speak of depth, many do not understand. When you mention intuition, some dismiss it. When you say you feel called towards something greater, they say you are overthinking. But they do not hear what you hear. They do not see the subtle movements happening within you. If your heart quietly stirred just now, you understand. And understanding is not an accident. Sign 4. You are attacked by invisible battles. From that inner fire, another phenomenon emerges. Silent yet undeniable, like a shadow that stretches behind anyone walking closer to the light. As you move deeper into your inner journey, the darkness begins to move as well. This is not coincidence, it is law. Jung said that the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. And you feel this through restless nights, unexplained anxiety, intrusive thoughts, and fears that seem to come from nowhere. No one needs to attack you from the outside. Your mind itself becomes the battlefield. One part of you longs to rise, to heal, to live in alignment with your calling. Another part pulls you back with fear, doubt, and old memories. This is the conflict between ego and self. The ego fears change, the self demands growth, and you stand between them, exhausted yet unable to stop walking. Many people describe this as resistance. The moment they decide to change, everything seems to go wrong. Work becomes chaotic, old relationships resurface, emotional waves appear without warning. Fatigue sets in. Fog fills the mind. It feels as if an invisible force is pushing back against every step forward. These are not signs of failure, they are signs of transformation. From a Jungian perspective, what rises is not evil, it is the shadow. The repressed fears, the unhealed wounds, the forgotten parts of yourself demanding attention. As you rise, they rise with you. They want to be seen, acknowledged, integrated. The greatest battle is not against the world. It is against the inner resistance that fears letting go of the familiar. You feel guilt when you choose yourself, doubt when you become stronger, fear when you outgrow old roles. But every time you face these emotions, you are bringing shadow into consciousness. Jung said that what remains unconscious becomes fate. The soul uses struggle to awaken awareness. You are not being punished. You are being purified. No one sees these battles. No one hears the arguments in your mind at night. No one knows how often you wrestle with memories you thought you had healed. But God sees, and your soul knows. These trials have one purpose: to move you from who you were into who you are becoming. Not to destroy you, but to reveal your strength. If you are in this invisible war right now, do not be afraid. The chosen always walk through it. Only those carrying great light provoke such resistance. Sign 5. You crave inner purity more than the world's approval. After facing darkness, something within you shifts. You begin to crave purity, not moral perfection, but inner honesty, alignment, truth. This is a clear stage of individuation. As the persona falls away, the soul demands wholeness. One day you realize you no longer want to prove anything. Applause loses its power, praise feels hollow. What matters now is how you feel when you are alone, when you look inward, when you speak honestly with God and with yourself. You step back from competition, from performance, from shallow validation. Not because you despise the world, but because you respect yourself. Instead of wanting to appear good, you want to be real. Instead of wanting to be admired, you want inner peace. Instead of standing in the crowd, you seek stillness. You notice the change in small ways. Pretending drains you. Relationships built on benefit feel wrong. Trends no longer interest you. And strangely, this does not weaken you. It strengthens you. You begin to know what aligns with you and what does not. When God chooses a woman for a sacred path, he uproots what is false within her, not to deprive her, but to protect her. Recognition fades, integrity remains. True light does not come from being seen. It comes from being whole. You do not need applause anymore. You need truth. And this is where destiny begins to take shape. Sign 6. You feel other people's pain intensely. When you begin to crave inner purity more than the world's approval, another door inside your soul opens. The door of empathy. And once it opens, it rarely closes again. You start to perceive life differently. You no longer hear only words. You hear what is hidden beneath them. You no longer see only smiles. You sense the sorrow behind them. You no longer observe people from the surface. You feel them from the inside. This sensitivity is not imagined. It is the natural result of inner clarity. In Jungian psychology, those who move deeply into individuation develop a heightened intuition, not because they are mystical, but because they are no longer clouded by denial, projection, or self-betrayal. Their inner lens becomes clean enough to perceive the unconscious of others. You notice things others miss: a forced laugh, a pause that lasts a second too long, a sudden change in tone, a short reply where there used to be warmth. You sense exhaustion, grief, and fear without anyone saying a word. Sometimes the moment someone enters a room, you already feel their emotional weight settling inside your chest. This ability does not make you judgmental, it makes you compassionate. When someone lashes out in anger, you do not only see aggression, you sense the wound beneath it. When someone appears cold or distant, you do not only see indifference, you feel the fear that built that wall. When someone succeeds outwardly but feels empty inside, you recognize the quiet cry of a soul disconnected from itself. Jung taught that those who have suffered deeply gain access to the collective human pain, not intellectually, but emotionally. Your empathy is not learned, it is remembered. It comes from your own wounds, your own nights of loneliness, your own unanswered questions. From a sacred perspective, this sensitivity is not an accident. God does not give hardened hearts the task of healing. He gives it to hearts that have cracked, because cracks create openings, and openings allow love to flow. Just like an instrument vibrates only when it meets the right frequency, your soul resonates with pain because it recognizes it. You understand others not because you are weak, but because you have lived. But be honest, there are days when this gift feels heavy. You absorb emotions that are not yours. A single sentence can affect you deeply. You feel tired without knowing why. You ask yourself why you are so sensitive, why everything reaches so deeply into you. In those moments, remember this: empathy is not a burden. It is a covenant. In Jungian terms, this is the healer archetype. A true healer does not heal through advice or intellect. They heal through presence, through the capacity to hold another's pain without losing themselves. That capacity requires maturity, boundaries, wisdom, but it is a gift nonetheless. Your heart becomes like water, gentle, flexible, yet strong. You feel pain not because you are fragile, but because your soul is vast enough to hold it. And that vastness is a sign you are being prepared to bring healing into the world in a way. Sign 7. You want to build rather than boast. When your heart becomes sensitive enough to feel the pain of others, you enter a deeper stage of maturity. You realize that life is no longer a stage for competing over attention. It feels more like a field where you quietly plant seeds. After separation, wounding, awakening, battling, purification, and empathy, you understand something essential. Applause is fleeting, recognition is unstable, visibility does not nourish the soul. You no longer feel the urge to show off. Performing exhausts you. Proving yourself feels empty. You want to live a quiet, grounded life. A life where substance matters more than image, where results speak louder than words. Jung said the ego wants recognition, but the self wants fulfillment. And without realizing it, you begin to live from the self. You no longer need constant validation to feel worthy. You do not need praise to know you are aligned. You do not need permission to belong. Your value comes from what you are building, not from how you are seen. From a sacred perspective, this is crucial. God does not choose those who seek the spotlight. He chooses those who know how to work in silence. Because the most sacred things are built quietly. Roots grow in darkness long before branches touch the light. In a world obsessed with appearance, you feel out of place. People rush to display success before it is stable. They seek admiration more than strength. But you see through that illusion. You want depth. You want durability. You want something that will outlast applause. Some build a business, some build a family, some rebuild themselves. Whatever it is, you want it to be real. You do not need witnesses, you need roots. There was a woman who once tried to prove her worth through luxury, travel, and visibility, but she felt more exhausted than fulfilled. One day she withdrew, she studied, she learned, she built skills, she invested in long-term values. People thought she disappeared. In truth, she was building a life she did not need to advertise. In Jungian psychology, this is called becoming center-oriented. You no longer chase the external. You return to your inner axis. You stop competing. You understand that everyone has their own path, pace, and purpose. You do not rush to be first. You move to be true. Boasting comes from insecurity. Building comes from strength. You stop talking about plans. You act. You stop displaying effort. You let outcomes speak. You no longer need to be better than others. You only need to be more aligned than you were yesterday. When God chooses someone, He gives them bricks, not trophies. He asks them to build. Because only what is built by real hands endures. Applause fades. Trends shift. But what you build from your soul remains. Being chosen is not a badge of honor, it is an invitation to leave old roles, to walk away from places your soul has outgrown, to carry the flame within you without needing to announce it. You may still feel afraid, you may still look back. That is okay. What matters is not perfection, but honesty. A little more truth each day. And remember this. What looks like chaos now may one day reveal itself as guidance. What feels like loss may have been redirection. What seems like breaking may have been the way your soul and God quietly led you home to who you were always meant to be.